Good morning, you guys. It's day number 23 of my sabbatical 250. We are rocking and rolling today here on a very cold morning. And I say cold not to complain, but to say, holy cow, it's a lot cooler than it has been. I think it's like 52 or 3 degrees. It's pretty chilly this morning, just the way Jimmy likes it. You guys know I love the ice bath as part of my protocol. And so being out here in this colder weather than it has been is glorious. So good morning. Come on in, everyone. Wanted to talk to you here on day number 23 of my sabbatical to 50. If this is the first video you've seen of me during this 100-day journey, I am embarking on 100 days of attempting to change my body composition, change my mindset, and quite frankly, just observe anything else that happens in the midst of this. And so here we are. I've been going live at about 7 a.m. on Instagram Live. So if you're not watching on Instagram Live and you're watching this on replay later, come follow me at Livin' Low Carb Man over on Instagram. And when the sun comes up on the East Coast of the United States, Jimmy's out here walking on the trail. So I'm out here on the trail. It's supposed to be a beautiful day today. Like I said, it's low 50s for the temperature right now. I don't even think the high temperature is supposed to get out of like the low 70s, like 71, 72 is the high temperature today. So it's gonna be glorious. I love the shifting of the seasons. Things start to change. And that's what I want to talk about here today. I always like to kind of block off on these morning walks a bit of time to focus on some topic to teach you guys kind of how you can get through any kind of challenge in your life that you set for yourself. But I will, as always, engage with you guys here in a minute. So if you have comments that you want to share, really anything you want to ask or talk about or share, I'm all ears. So please go ahead and type in your comments below. I'll get to you guys in a minute. But this idea of change scares people. Whenever you embark on any kind of change of your routine, whenever you go through times in your life where things are different than what you're used to, a lot of people don't handle that very well. Many people run away from change because they like the comfortability of the same old. They like to feel in control. And so change makes that not possible. When you start changing, you lose control somewhat. And I would say not lose control, I say you abdicate control for a bigger purpose when change happens, especially when you are the instigator of the change. And so when I started this on September the 1st, a lot of changes happened in my routine. I lost about 5 to 6 hours a day of my schedule that I used to use for podcast preparation, writing columns on social media, working on my book that I'm working on. I lost that time. And it was a big change for me. And it was a change that I did on purpose. A change that I wanted to make for the purposes of bigger change down the road. So yes, while I am invested in this particular protocol I'm doing right now, it's not going to be forever. It's just a temporary period of time that I'm implementing various things just to see if we can move the needle. But it's not forever. But people freak out about change, and they don't understand that change is really the only constant in life. Now, how ironic is that? Change is the only constant in life. We think constant means never change, nothing's different than what I know. Everything that I do in my life now, I'll do in my life tomorrow, next month, next year, and all will be peachy keen. But if you ask yourself, if you're happy in the midst of that, if you ask yourself, is that where I want to be in my life? Most people come to the realization of no. And so what does it require? It requires you to change. And so if you want to evolve, you want to grow, you want things to happen in your life, it requires you to change. I don't know what makes that word so hard for people, but I'm here to tell you, change, embrace it, welcome it, throw your arms wide open and just grab that unafraid, knowing that it's going to produce good results for you. Look, it would be very easy for me to stay in my day-to-day routine, doing all the things in my life the same as I've done. It would be very easy to do that. But I'm not interested in easy. Easy isn't easy. Easy isn't as easy as we think it is. We like to think that we want easy. And I'm not saying we want hard. Hard is certainly not fun either. But temporary periods of hard, or what I would say temporary periods of challenge through change, things that you do in your routine. Oh yeah, I want that. I want that. Because here's the thing. If you stay in your comfort and you stay in the easy all the time, how do you know what you're capable of? How do you know if you're able to accomplish something that your brain right now tells you that you absolutely cannot do? How will you ever know if you don't push yourself? If you don't test that? If you don't see if what your brain is telling you you can and cannot do is true or not? You can't know until you embrace change, until you welcome the change that needs to happen. Like, I had a lot of hopes for this sabbatical to 50 when I started it 23 days ago, and I still do. And I'm already seeing changes start to happen. Today, it's 53 degrees out here. It's been in the 70s, so quite a bit cooler. If you don't like cold, I do, I happen to like it, but if you didn't like cold, you could not like this change today. I can tell you, as someone who sweats like crazy on this walk in the mornings, I welcome the change. I embrace the air conditioner that's outside today. It's glorious. And it's a good change for me, because it means I'll be able to get through this walk and not get too overheated, so that's good. In fact, I turned on the infrared sauna before I left, and I'm gonna be in the sauna probably when I get back to help warm up. How ironic is that? Usually the sauna continues me being hot, but I have a feeling my ears, yeah, everything's really cold. It's gonna be used to warm me up. So maybe the change gives me a longer session in the sauna. Yeah, I will do that. And in the midst of this journey, I'm looking for changes that are happening in mindset, in body composition. Like, that's the whole point of being out here. The whole reason I'm doing this is to make those goals happen. And if those goals are happening, then I'm off to the races. That's the reason. And so any changes I see, and I have seen some, I embrace, I welcome. I like the extra energy that I've experienced. I like the feeling of accomplishment that I've been able to stick with this. Modifications here and there, a few little bumps in the roads here and there, But that's a change, because you can get very stuck in your normal routine, and then you change things. Mine was pretty radical, and it can mess up your schedule. I'll tell you, when I first started this Staybatical to 50, it actually put me behind on a lot of my work. So I usually do a lot of behind the scenes prep work, video editing, and that kind of thing of my podcast, which airs both in video, all of them, in video and audio form. And so I'm editing some of the videos and then uploading them to YouTube, setting all that up with the notes and everything. That takes time. And so a lot of this time that I'm spending on the Staybatical stuff has robbed me from that stuff. And I will get to the end of the week and go, holy crap, I don't have any of my podcasts set up for next week. And so it has forced me, this change, to shift and budget time later in the week to do that. But what about you guys? I want to hear from you. Surely you've gone on some challenge for yourself. You've experienced change. Do you welcome change? Do you embrace it? Do you like it? Or do you find yourself wanting to fall back into the comfort of normality, the comfort of what you're used to? And let's dig into that a little more. Why do we crave normal? Why do we crave things being the way they are? Think about your whole life. Is your life, whatever age you are today, is your life the same as it was when you were 10 years old? No matter what age you are right now, unless you're 10, it'll be exactly the same. But I don't assume a 10-year-old is watching me at 7:30 in the morning on a weekday. But whatever you were at 10 years old, are you exactly the same as you were then? And if the answer is no, then you need to ask yourself, hang on, there's a dog with kids coming up. I want to make sure I don't run over them. Hi, guys. If the answer is no, that you're not the same as you were at 10 years old, then why? What happened? Change. My friend Brittany says that she loves change. Yes, change is your middle name, Brittany. It's not Lee. It's Brittany Change Davis. Because you do, the girl does like her change. But it's because Brittany sees the value in change. And look, if you're ever unhappy in your life, if you ever have those moments when you wished for more, when you wished, why don't things fall into place for me like they do for other people? That's your clue to go change. And if you choose not to change in spite of all those feelings you have, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do for you about that. It requires change. And of course, I think what intimidates people about change is the unknown. And so unknown does not make us comfortable. There are a lot of people I know in my life, they embrace the unknown. They love not being sure of things and just diving right into them. Now, those are the people that go to this project, this project, this project, this project, this project, and they never like settle into anything because they're addicted to change. I think you can go both ways. You can stay in your monotonous life, or you can constantly change, but there's a happy balance in the middle of that. And so if you're pursuing a goal in your life, just be prepared for change. Embrace it, welcome it, make it a part of who you are. Because if you're not changing, then you're not going to change. Hear that again. If you're not changing, then you will not, cannot, impossible to change. You just got to do it. And I've lived it myself. On this journey here that I'm on right now, The change isn't about quantifying a weight on a scale. Don't give a damn. Really don't. It's really measured in subjective terms. How do I feel? Do I feel stronger? Do I feel more energetic? A little bit of objective, looking at differences in pictures. I looked at the day 22 picture I took yesterday, and I was like, all right, I see you there, change. I see the changes that are happening, incremental as they may be, but they are happening. And this is the other thing. When we make a change, we always assume that, well, if I change big, then I should see big changes happening almost immediately. That's a mistake that we make. We assume that the proximity to when we make a change means that we're going to get that same level of change back. And it doesn't work that way. You might change something today and not even see the fruits of that change manifest in you till a year from now. I'm not even talking about weight or anything at this point. It's just in general, you make some kind of a change. Don't expect to see change next week, next month. It might be next year. And that's a lesson in and of itself as well, of perseverance and trusting the process and realizing that big goals require big patience. And when you make a big change, don't expect it to happen so soon. It's like those people that go on a weight loss journey. I want to lose 50 pounds by the end of the year. All right, how do you know your body's ready for that? How do you know that expectation to lose that much weight in that short period of time is possible? And then if you make that change and you lose 25 pounds by the end of the year, you're gonna feel like shit. You're gonna feel like, oh crap, nothing happened with that change. So then your brain tells you, see, wasn't worth the change. Go back to normal. Go back to the way you were, your humdrum, boring life, and don't even try again. This is why I tell people, don't psych yourself out of positive results that you're seeing. We all do it, guys. We all make those choices to change. We decide to do that, but then we put parameters on it. That's why, by design, I've had no parameters on this journey other than subjective ones. And I have felt every bit of the subjective ones. So let's hear from you. I'm jibber-jabbering a lot today. I always like engaging with you guys. So what are those changes that you have tried in your life? And have you bemoaned the change? Have you been like, and do that kind of thing? Or have you embraced it? Have you welcomed it? And I want to hear examples, if you want to share, of how embracing change, welcoming change, being change in your life actually changed your life. Sorry, I'm at another intersection now that's pretty precarious. And so somebody was moving their car. They were inching up on me. I was like trying to wave, letting them know I need to get by. People. All right, so tell us your examples of how you've embraced change, how it's altered. Maybe you went into something unsure of a change you were making, and then you got into it and you did the thing, and yeah, it might have taken some time, but then you noticed change. Has that happened? Were you unexpectedly surprised by some changes that happened for you? That's always fun to hear. And I can tell you, I've been down this road with a lot of things in my life. Obviously, my original weight loss success, that was a major change. 2004, going on the Atkins diet, went from 1,600 grams of carbohydrate a day And then the Atkins diet says, yeah, bruh, 20 grams, let's go. And so I went from 1,600 grams of carbs, mostly high fructose corn syrup from the soda, down to 20. And so that was a change. And let me tell you, that change did not come without a little pain. Okay, that change didn't come without a lot of pain. I literally felt like, and I've never been on hard drugs before, but I literally felt like I was on like crack cocaine and detoxing. Those first few days, it was brutal. Brutal. But was it a change I needed to do? You bet it was. Was it a change in hindsight that I would do again? Oh, hell yeah. So change is not always a bad thing. Change is the catalyst for accomplishing what you're looking for in your life. I'm going to keep hammering this point, guys. You want good things to happen in your life. You want to accomplish. You want to be above the rest. The only way you do that is to change. I don't understand how anybody could think that if you don't change, that you could somehow progress in life and be successful. Do you guys think that I would be a successful author? 3 international best-selling books, written 9 total books. Could I have done that if I was unwilling to change? It's hella hard to write a book, by the way. So when you invest yourself into a process like that, it requires you to change. Now look, I had skills I brought into writing books, having written blog posts, having been a double major in college. I was a political science and English major in undergrad. I took one English class from one professor 8 different times. I had 8 different classes with this guy because he taught me something that has served me well. He said, rewrite the papers as many times as you want till you get the grades you want. So for me, I would rewrite the hell out of papers, and it made me good at kind of revising, improving the writing. And that's all writing a book is writing it down on paper, rewriting till it's the way you want it to be. So that's what we did. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Looks like a few of you have chimed in. Miss Brittany says, I've completely changed everything about how I used to be. Mental, physical, emotional. So far, I'm most impressed with falling in love with reading again. So yeah, guys, this is my friend Brittany. She's currently 1 week away, dun dun dun, from accomplishing 75 Hard. So if you've never seen the 75 Hard program before, go look it up. Andy Frisella. But it's a set of regimented things to do on a daily basis. And I'm sure you would say big changes for you, Brittany. And you do them every day. And you can't miss any of them. You can modify, but you can't not do them. And so, yeah, she's 1 week away from slaying that 75. And all those changes, as hard as they've been for her, are now encouraging her to want to do it even further. Now she's going to take a break and come back and do different other phases of it. But the fact that she didn't know she could do 75 Hard when she started, and now she's not only can do it, she is doing it. It's almost done. The fact that she did all of that is a big deal. But it wouldn't happen if she was unwilling to change and do all those things. And I know her personally. Some of those days of getting all those things in were a real challenge and pushed her to the brink, to the point that by 11 something at night, when it's almost the end of the quote day, she's just finishing some of the things on the list. So, and yes, you are a voracious reader, and that's a change. Like, look, here's the thing. How do you know if you like or don't like something if you don't try it. I think about you in the book reading right now, Brittany, where you're just a madman. In fact, you're such a madman reading books that you're out of books, and you still got a week left, and you're on your last book. So you're gonna have to go to the library or something and get you another book. But that's beautiful. That had it not been for 75 Hard, you would not have rekindled that love for reading. And yet here you are, having a rekindled love for reading. And not only that, it's now expanded your mind. She and I do a podcast together called One Step Deeper. She's always dropping these bombs. Yeah, I read in David Goggins' book, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, that's a learned person talking there. And it's cool. So yes, you are epitomizing what change means. And I love that you brought up that it's not just physical change, it's mental change, it's emotional change. The core of who you are changes. All of that is important. So thank you for chiming in, Brittany. Sandra says, at 74 years old, change can be unsettling. Yes, it can be. You can get very set in your ways. My mom is 71. You can get very set in your ways. And she often throws that at me when I talk about different things to try and change. And she's like, I'm too old for this. I'm just set in my ways. I guess I'll never change. I'm like, screw that. Screw that. You're never too old to make a change to make you better. Now that's the caveat here. Don't just change for change's sake. Have change with a purpose. If you've got a purpose behind that change, then that drives you to want to change, right? If there's a good purpose, a good reason, reasonable expectations that you will accomplish what you want to accomplish, turn time, heading back home, that should not make it unsettling for others around you as well. Be careful, Mom, but I feel so much stronger with my weight training. Yes. I mean, look, be cautious, I suppose, with the specific changes you do, but being afraid of change simply because it's different isn't a reason to be afraid of change. Being afraid of change because you want to start jumping out of planes and skydiving, okay, maybe that's one that you back off on at 74 years old. Although I remember the former president, George H.W. Bush, he made it a point on his birthday every 10 years. So 50, 60, 70, 80, all the way till he was 90. He was jumping out of airplanes. That was just his little tradition that he did every 10 years of his birthday. So he was unafraid. And at that point, he had implemented that change so much that he wasn't going to let his age stop him from doing this thing that he'd gotten accustomed to. It was really actually cool. But Sandra, I wish you well. Unsettling as it may be, lean into that. The unsettling nature of change is part of what makes change so awesome. Woo, got a bright sun right now. I'm at this intersection that's really crazy, so let me make sure I don't get run over. Whew. All right, that is some ruthless sunshine. I'll take it though after all the rain and everything. Okay, I made it. So, yes, it can be unsettling, but lean into that. Let that be a catalyst for you. If it's unsettling, that's normal. That's by design. Change is not meant to be like what you're used to. Change is meant to shake you up, shift you into a new paradigm, allow you to experience things that, but for the change you're doing, you would never experience. I'm at a point in my life right now, pretty big change for me, and I'm going through the woes of going through this situation that I've never been through before. And I'm talking in code by design because I don't want to start something. But let's just say it's brand new to me. I'm not used to doing it. And I'm embracing the change, even as I fall in the process of it. Because change doesn't mean it's all going to work out right away. Change also requires you to go through the process, experience the agony of defeat sometimes, so that you can ultimately learn the lesson of what the change is trying to teach you. So for me, with this one thing, I'm just embracing it. I'm enjoying the experience. I'm adding on to my knowledge with all the experiences I have with this. And someday it's going to manifest as something beautiful in my life. Just not today. And that's okay. Just like right now, I'm on this walk in day number 23 of this challenge. It would be very easy for me to be, all right, I've been at this over 3 weeks. This is all I've lost as far as weight goes. Is this all it's gonna be? It would be easy for me to look in the here and now, early on still, of this journey and say, wait a minute, I've made major change. I deserve to see bigger changes on the other side of this. Change is not linear like that. You don't get an equal result from the equal change that you put in. You can't expect it to put out that same change. But here's the fun part. When you're consistent, when you stay with it, and you keep making that change a reality, there's my old halfway point, then eventually you will see this big whoosh of change happen. It has always happened in everything that I've done to challenge myself. It's always happened that if you're patient with it and you're consistent with it, you can see some pretty good change start to happen, but not necessarily before you put in a hell of a lot of work. You guys know when I started the Livin' La Vida low carb brand, 2005, first as a blog, then as a podcast. You guys know I worked at that year after year after year, building it up. And I didn't see the fruits of that hard work with all my podcasts, all my blogs, my various books that I had written. I didn't see the fruits of that till about 2015. So 10 years. And a lot of people get started online thinking, oh, I'm gonna be an online entrepreneur. I'm gonna make something of myself. I'm gonna put in a lot of work. And in like a year or two, I will make lots of money. I will be able to take care of my family, blah, blah, blah. And while that's a nice aspiration to have, and I certainly encourage you to go for it, don't expect it. Not that quick. Now, I don't think it'll take 10 years if you decided to do that. It took 10 years for me because the technology had to catch up. iPhone wasn't even invented when I started. There was no social media, so no Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We had MySpace and forums, and that was it, and blogs. And so it took me a long time before I saw money of consequence that said, okay, wow, okay, that's the payoff of all this work I've been doing. And it took me consistency and being willing to change. I'll tell you, Instagram was a hard one for me, social media wise. I got on Facebook and Twitter pretty quick, but I resisted Instagram because everybody that was posting on Instagram, and Pinterest is the same way. I still can't get into Pinterest with my work, but it looked like everybody posting on Instagram was posting recipes. Well, I'm not a recipe blogger. I wrote about translatable science. I did podcasting, And so I was like 2012 or 13 before I got onto Instagram. And of course, they've improved the tools now with this live feature and the stories and all the things they do now. But I didn't see my place in that change. And so once I made that change, I realized I could promote my podcast on there. And then eventually it morphed into writing encouraging posts on there. And then I found my place. But for the longest time, I resisted that change. I just didn't want to do it. I saw it as useless. I saw it as not serving me well. And I don't like doing things that I don't think will serve me well. So, but once I embraced that change and realized the benefit I could get from it, then I was off to the races. And yeah, I mean, it served me well. I got as high as 48,000 followers. What was it, about almost 3 years ago? And then overnight, the day before I was supposed to release a book, some hackers got into my Instagram account and deleted it. So I lost all those followers and had to start at 0 again. You want something that humbles you? Have your social media page just eliminated. That humbles you really fast. So we're back to 21,000 now, and it's excited people that want to be here. So I appreciate that. But change. Let's see what you guys have to say. Are you embracing it? Are you welcoming it? Is it a part of your life? Let's see what you guys have. Laurie says, changing food choices was huge for me. Finally had the discipline to sustain this. So happy I embraced it and I keep going. Yes. Look, some changes we don't know we need until we change them. Like, you don't know how bad you feel. For those of you that eat a keto or carnivore diet, for example, you don't know how bad you feel eating carbs until you eliminate them. And then you realize, okay, wow, that's cool. I didn't realize I had that ache and that pain from the food. And sometimes change is hard, especially in like food, because you're getting reinforcement from of bad messages from people that are experts or so-called experts, dietitians, doctors, other people in your life. And so you're reticent to change because what you want to do is the opposite of what they're saying to do. So that's a tough one as well. But good for you, embracing your change in food choices. I've got an interview coming up, by the way, on Instagram Live for an upcoming episode of my podcast. It's going to go live at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on my Instagram channel. And it's with the guy that created the Keto Chow company. Chris Bear is his name. And I said, Chris, why don't you come on the show? What do you want to talk about? He said, you know, I'm just kind of over all of these people that argue online about food choices. Like, can't we just acknowledge that this person likes to do this way of eating? This person likes to do this way of eating. They both feel good. They both get great results. They both like what they're doing. Why do you have to vilify the other to make yours look good? So, real excited to talk to him about that. And I'm sure many other topics that will come up. But it's true, food choices can be powerful. Very powerful. All right, there's a dog coming at me, so. Good morning. Again. All right. Hello, Jules. Thanks for being here. We're talking about change today. Do you welcome it? Do you embrace it? Or are you like, change, change is a 4-letter word, no. One of my favorite shows, it's off the air now, but it's in reruns, in syndication, is The Big Bang Theory. And the big, tall, nerdy guy, they're all nerdy, but the very nerdy guy, Sheldon Cooper, the character, played by Jim Parsons, anytime that they tried to change from his schedule, his brain didn't handle it well. So they'd have like Tuesday nights is Thai food night. Wednesday night is Mexican night. Thursday, and that kind of thing. And so when they tried to change that schedule, he would be like, no, it's Tuesday. It's Thai food. We can't have Italian on Thai food night. He didn't like change. And then his roommate wanted to get married and live with his wife, and his brain was freaking out. And there's people like that. They don't handle change at all. And I'm here to tell you that you gotta. I mean, you don't have to change every day, but change when it's appropriate. Change when you feel that pull that something's not right. Look, that was the whole point I started this journey here of the Staybatical to 50. I knew I needed to change. I knew I needed something to kickstart my goals again. And this is the change I chose. Is it the right change? I don't know. I think it's a part of the right change. I think it goes into the equation of the things I need to do. But I don't know if what I'm doing right now is the absolute thing I should continue to do. But for now, this is the change I'm doing. And we're gonna see what happens with this change. And then perhaps I get to the end of this 100 days and I realize I need to change again. And that's another thing. Change is not a one-time deal. And then you never have to change from that change. You may have to change from the change you make. How ironic is that? And to me, that's just listening to what's happening in your life. You got to recognize where you are. Like I did the Atkins diet when I was 32 years old. That was a long time ago. I'm turning 50 in December. And so I wanted to change my body. And I did, eating the Atkins diet. Could I eat the exact same way as I did in 2004? People have often said this. Oh, you gained weight, just go back to what you did. I don't have the same body. I'm older. I have some of the ramifications of all those years of bad eating manifesting as insulin resistance, which makes it a little harder. But it's so tempting to say, well, I did this change before, I saw good results, so I'll just do the exact same thing again. And you can't look at it that way. Every change is a brand new experience, even if you've done them before. Believe that, guys. Don't necessarily get comfortable in, well, I figured out the change I need to make. I'll just revert back to that. Then you go back to that. You don't see the results you want, and you're perplexed, and you're frustrated, and you're like, what has happened? This worked before. Why isn't it working now? It's because you tried to make an old change fit in a box of what you need now. And maybe the old change served you well when it did, but doesn't serve you well now. Maybe you need more. Maybe, like Jimmy's doing, not only do you eat carnivore, not only do you add in periods of fasting, but you also do a lot of other things, like a morning walk, like infrared sauna, like ice bath. Always challenging yourself to change more and more and more. And when you do that, that's when the magic happens. Change is not formulaic. Don't try to fit it in a box. This worked before, therefore it should work again. It doesn't work that way. Texas Carnivore Ranch Wife says, I have had a NSV pants, will not stay up, started back walk due to your encouragement. Yay! Yay, yeah, I've got a lot of you guys that have written to me and said, please don't stop doing your morning walks. I'm walking again. And I'm like, damn, You mean I got to do this every day? No, I love it. I love walking, especially when the weather changed. When I got out here initially, almost an hour ago, it was 52 or 3 degrees. So definitely great walking weather. And I'm glad to hear, by the way, that I have motivated so many of you to at least want to get up and walk. Like, look, I think walking is a very easy way to make change start to happen if you're looking for physical change and even mental change. I find on these walks, when I'm talking to you or even when I'm not talking to you, I get a lot out of just the clearing of the mind of walking, because you got all this blood flowing through your body. And yeah, it's a thing to get out, and being outside, breathing in lots of oxygen, getting that sunshine hitting the eyes this time of day, and then just the movement, that light little perspiration on the forehead, all of that. That's a change any of us could benefit from. So if you're currently not doing anything, maybe that's something you can try to change. I'm going to remind you, day 51 of my journey is going to be day 1 of your journey. So be thinking of things you can do to challenge yourself, not mimicking what I do, but coming up with your own things. And if it's just walking 1 hour a day, and that's going to challenge you, that's going to be the thing that challenges you, then do that. I would argue you could do more, but that's just me and my own self-competitive nature that makes me want to do more. It is my last name after all. I'm not Jimmy Less, I'm Jimmy Moore. Got to do more. Always do more. Good walk. Thank you, Parkman. After a while, change can become boring. And that's when you know it's just a part of who you are. Brittany, that is a great point. If it feels like the change that you've done has become monotonous, congratulations. It's a part of your routine. Do you find brushing your teeth monotonous? Do you find going to take a shower monotonous? Do you find even like making breakfast monotonous? They're all that way and boring. They're all that way because you do them all the time. And so, when you make a change and it becomes a habit, which by the way, 21 days to make a habit? I can see that. I'm 23 days in on my journey, and it's most certainly a habit to be out here. I had a tough night's sleep last night, woke up around 2:30, tried to stay in bed, and it just wasn't happening. So I got on up and got some stuff done on my podcast that's airing today, and was up for a little bit. Around 4:30, I said, okay, I'm gonna lie back down, try to get a little more sleep. Next thing I know, it's 6:45 in the morning. I gotta get on my walk. Like, that was the first thing when I woke up. It wasn't, okay, I can sleep a little more. First thing that I thought of was, oh crap, there's people waiting for me to go take my walk, to go on Instagram Live. It's become so much a part of this. Now I won't go live forever on my morning walk, unless you guys like this. Maybe I can start a new podcast. Morning Walk Thoughts with Jimmy Moore. Because I'm doing all these on recording. Might as well. But yeah, so it does become monotonous, boring, but that's when you know it's taken hold. Great point. Brittany says 75 hard is pretty boring for her right now. Yes. Look, if it's 21 days to make a habit, you're triple that now. You've done triple the habit. So I'm sure it is quite monotonous, quite boring. For me, all the things that I'm doing, it's a checklist. So I'm getting a checklist, 60-minute walk. When I get home, I'm gonna get in the sauna. I get the checklist, infrared sauna, and all the rest of the things. It's a checklist. I had a bunch of them done yesterday by noon. I think all I had left was the meditation and the grounding with sunshine. And I did the grounding around 2:30. And then I waited till closer to bedtime to do the meditation, because that will make you sleepy. But yeah, can get monotonous, but second nature is a good way to put it as well. Once new habits, new changes that you've developed become second nature, you did it. You did it. Once it's a part of your daily routine, I'm on my second hill, by the way. Once it becomes a part of your daily routine and you don't even think about it, go back to that point when you made the initial change. Did you ever think you would get to the point where you wouldn't even think about the change that you're making? I bet you didn't. I bet you're like, oh my God, they call this 75 hard for a reason, because it's hard. And our brains look at the word hard and we have kind of this repulsed reaction to it. And yet when you accomplish hard, that changes something up here. I think it's brilliant the way Andy outlines the program, what he describes it as 75 hard, not 75 moderately challenging. He could have called it that. He called it hard because I think he wanted people to recognize you can do hard things. You can change and experience things that you didn't think were possible. And so it hardwired in your brain is that this was 75 hard and now it's boring and monotonous. That is a big, big win, Brittany. So good job. I love my grounding pillowcase says effort for transformation. Yeah, there's all kind of little tools. At that biohacking conference I went to, they had lots of grounding types of things. What was it? The sauna space. They had the infrared sauna. They had three things going on. You got the infrared sauna. They had a bamboo mat for grounding. And it was also EMF blocking. And so kind of a triple whammy of things that they had on that. But if you're just joining us, I'm on day number 23 of my 100-day journey I'm calling Stay Batical to 50. I'm doing 100 days. First 50 days is me doing a series of these hacks, which includes a 60-minute walk when I talk to you guys. Gonna get in the infrared sauna when I get home. So got ice bath, grounding, sunshine, vibration plate, red light therapy, meditation. Today's an odd day, so it's an eating day. So I'm eating carnivore on the odd days and then fasting on the even. Actually, what's happening is I will finish eating on the odd day, which is today, maybe 9:30, maybe 11. But when I have my last meal, I actually start the fasting. And then tomorrow, when it's 24 hours, I kind of assess where I'm at hunger-wise. And if I'm hungry, then I break the fast. So I get a 24-hour fast every other day, pretty much. I'm hoping to try to push that a little bit at some point where I can fast a little longer, because I know that does a lot of mobilization of body fat when you incorporate it every other day like that. All right. Whew, I'm in the home stretch, guys. But yes, day 23, inviting you guys to join me at day 51 with your own 50-day challenge. It's all culminating on December the 10th. And my birthday, my 50th birthday, is December 27th. So that's why we came up with Stay Batical to 50. But I appreciate you guys coming along for this journey with me. It's a lot of fun to come on here, opine, do all the things to make change happen, because change is necessary and change is beneficial. I think if we look at change in a positive light and not make it such a negative, then it becomes easier to embrace it and welcome it. I think a lot of people hear the word change and they just think of all the bad things that change brings. And let me be honest, change can bring some bad things. Trust me, I've been through a few changes in my life these last few years that had brought on some bad things in the temporary, but in the long term, a lot of change actually turns into stuff that's good. Laurie wants to know if I recommend any grounding products. No. I mean, if you find something that tickles your fancy, go for it, but no, I'm old school. Take off my shoes, stand in the grass, you're grounding. You don't need stuff, honestly, in my opinion, that somebody will sell you. But there's companies out there, so if you see something that tickles your fancy, go for it. All right, guys. Hopefully by now, you realize change is not this dastardly thing you should avoid at all costs. Change is something that you pretty much should make a part of your life. And if it becomes a part of your life, watch what happens. Watch the incredible improvements, mindset, physical body, emotional state, everything just gets better. It's kind of the spice of life, is change. If you're unwilling to change, don't complain when your life becomes mundane, predictable, never really goes anywhere. I don't know anybody that wants that. Most people want things to happen in their life that are good, that put them in a better place, that allow them to experience things they never thought possible. If you don't change, then nothing will change. In order for change to happen, you have to change. Sounds kind of redundant, but think about that one. In order for change to happen, you must change. Seriously. Hone that ability within you to want to change. Be that change. Do whatever it takes to change. And look, if something's working for you, don't change that. Stick with the things that work for you. But there's parts of your life where things aren't working for you so well. Change that. And maybe you don't need to do what my friend Brittany did and throw everything out and change everything all at the same time. I will tell you, that's a little intense watching her go through that. But change is possible, change is necessary, and you're going to be glad that you changed in the end. Okay, you guys, I'm going to pop off of here now. I'm almost home. I can see my blue car, my solar panel house. And so, so today was day 23 update. Still going strong. Hope you guys are doing well. We will be back again. If it's this gorgeous every morning for the time being, moving forward, I'm gonna really like these morning walks. Not that I've hated them, but it's been wonderful to be out on this walk today. I am very sweaty, but then I'm chilly, like my ears are freezing, but I'm sweating. Kind of a weird juxtaposition. All right, guys, I'm out of here. We'll see you again soon. Bye.